Hear this okay? Yeah. For those of you that visit, I come down closer. I feel lonely up there by myself. And I try to sort of switch the sides back and forth, depending on which side needs preaching the most. Since Helen's here today, my wife and Jasmine. And sometimes I like over there because I can say I'm preaching to the choir. The other scripture that I read that I chose that I liked that connects with me with this day of all saints is from Revelation 21. The page number for you. I'll roll it up there. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's on page 259 in the Pew Bible in the New Testament section. Okay. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "See, the home of God is among mortals. He will dwell with them as their God. They will be his peoples, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away." And the one who was seated on the throne said, "See, I am making all things new." Also, he said, "Write this, for these words are trustworthy and true." Then he said to me, "It's done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." The Lord bless this reading of these scriptures. Words are important. I think I've sort of hit on that a lot here because I think that they are. Mainly the truthfulness of words that we use are important. They should help illuminate rather than confuse, but sometimes words confuse because someone is using a word in a different way or assuming a word that someone else has used means what I think that I might assume that it means what I think it means. But my definition is coming from my background. When Helen and I married, I moved to Rochester, New York from Starkville, Mississippi. And then eventually, two of my sons moved to Rochester too. But when they first came up to visit, maybe it was at our wedding, they came up and they were cold. You know, it was like winter, February. And so you know, they were, and so one of my sons asked if anyone had a toboggan, and Helen's two kids were confused by that request because that meant that they didn't know we don't have a toboggan, we don't have a sled. But in Mississippi, a toboggan is a stocking cap. Stocking cap. Is that true?
Yes.
For some people in West Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, not Ohio. No, okay, not Ohio. They had a sled. They had a sled to offer. They actually had stocking caps to offer too, but they didn't know they were asking about that because the language was different. The word was different. It didn't mean the same. Sometimes that's the way words are. You know, I have been the object of many snickers in my house. You know, and you know, I will suggest that we put something up. And Helen is looking up high. Where are we going to put this? In Mississippi, if you put something up, you just put it away. You're putting it away. You know, I don't know where the up came from. You know, so but The burners on the stove, I still call, I would slip call them, these are eyes on the stove. I see some people nodding, so the language that we use, the meaning of words is different. Well, we have different meanings among us, for different words. Sometimes I have taught conversational English, and I usually teach the more advanced students because they don't need the person who's teaching to be as expert as the others. But and one of the lessons might be on colors. We use colors a lot in our conversation. For example, green. If I said somebody was green with envy, that does not mean that their skin turned green, unless they were Elphaba from Wicked or something. But it meant that they were desirous of, envious of. That's what green would mean. But can you see how a person who didn't know that, if they heard this, and if I said someone is green with envy, they would need to know that. They would need to know that idiom is used in that way. We use green a lot of different ways. Green behind the ears, green as a gourd, whatever. So today I was thinking about All Saints, and I was wondering what comes to mind when we talk about saints, when the word saint, what is that for you? This is your part. You're supposed to respond. On all Saints, it's All Saints Sunday. What comes to mind when you hear the word saint?
Liturgically holy, extra pious.
Extra pious?
Extra
whatever. Yeah.
More.
Okay. Anybody? Any other thoughts about what comes to mind when you think when you think of saints or say saints?
Football.
Football. New Orleans Saints. Yeah. But the apostles. Yeah. Anybody else?
Kind people.
Kind people. Yeah. Okay.
Grandma.
Yeah. Christ-like. Yeah. In the New Testament, I want to just little tap each of those, and I'm going to try to do them fairly quickly. In the New Testament, the word saint actually, and it seems obvious from context, is talking about members of the church. When Paul wrote to Ephesians, Paul wrote to the saints at Ephesus. In Acts, when they're describing Paul before his conversion, they talk about him being a part of the killing of the saints, the persecution of the saints. This is not the persecution of those who were especially good. It's the persecution of those who belong to Christ. The people who belonged to Jesus, who were followers of Jesus. And so, it's not just the especially good, as I said. It's not those that we recognize in the scriptures. That's the case. Then over the years, though, the term saint, which means set aside, holy, it means apart from. As the people of God are set aside, holy, different from the people in the world. And we can, another time we'll talk about how there's good difference and bad difference. But over the years, and I don't know when it began, but I don't think it was right away. The Roman Catholic Church picked that title, that phrase, that saints, and began to apply it to those kinds of people that you were talking about, the especially kind, the especially holy person, the person who was known for righteousness and kindness and whatever the attribute that comes to your mind. And then the church actually had a way of declaring a person who had died as a saint. So most of the time, if I'm talking about Francis of Assisi, I would say St. Francis, and you would know who I was talking about, or St. Augustine, or St. Benedict, or so on. And so the Catholic Church has, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that a word that seems to be in the original in the Bible is meant to describe a certain kind of all the people of Christ. It doesn't bother me that word now is being used, as almost a title for people. Words change. The only thing is we need to know what we're talking about. We need to know if I'm talking with you and we're talking and we're using a word, then sometimes we need to sort it out. And sort of say, okay, do you mean this by this? Or what do you mean by this? And so today if we talk about saints, what I'm really talking about and what I want for us to focus on are people who were people in our lives. People who at times were very good and sometimes they were very human and they erred. But people who touched you and who helped to shape you and helped to make you into who you are. People who are no longer with us. I think I can think of a number of these people as I stand here before you. A number of them come to mind. When I look out at you, I know that you have people, there are people in your life, still in your life, who are people who no longer see, unless maybe in dreams, and for the most part, I think, I no longer see, but who have gone and you've missed in some ways, but they are a part of you and they have touched your life. The reason November 1st is All Saints Day, and the reason that it was chosen and it's a day that was established by Roman Catholics, and primarily in the Celtic world. It was thought that on November 1st the veil was very thin. The veil that separated us from those who had already gone was very thin. Now, if you're like me, and I lost a mom, a dad, and a brother in a year and a half, so there was a lot of loss, a lot of grief that went on in my life. But there are times when it's not so much that I have a sense of my mother's presence, but I do have a sense of I think about her very strongly. And there are times I find myself saying things to her. Psychologically, I'm not saying Mom's sitting here. I don't, she may be. I don't know. My wife's Irish Catholic, so she's but I think that, but there are times, and usually my part of the conversation with my mom is, gosh, I'm sorry, because now I understand, or yeah, I wish we'd done that better, or sometimes even, wish you had done that better. So today is a time that we can, in a little bit, share together. And I'll give you a chance to come up and you can light a candle. There will be other sticks that you're going to use to light. And there are people behind you, you can pass them on. And if you like, as you light the candle, you can say aloud the name of the person. You've got several candles, so if you want to do more, I would maybe not more than 5 of these or 3 of these, something like that. But maybe just one. But you will have that opportunity. In the passage that Leslie read, talked about the writer Peter wrote that we have this cloud of witnesses surrounding us, cheering us on as we run the race God has set before us. Just for a moment, and this is an assignment, look around you in here. Okay. Turn your heads, look around you, look at everyone. Okay. In this room, you have people who are eager to cheer you on as you run your race. The race that God is putting before you. Some of you are discovering that race. It's changing and taking shape as you're running it. But there are people in here who will be cheering you on to the extent that they can. But I believe that we also, it's like there's a balcony full of people in another dimension who are also cheering us on. My dad, my mom, my brother, my friend Greg, Tom and Jamie, friends Greg, Tom and Jamie, my sweet mother-in-law Holly. But these people too are pulling for us, and that means something to me. As you think about these people who've touched your life, whether this is how you see this as being something that is actual, or something that is psychological, or just sort of spiritual, a way of affirming. I want you to picture these people who continue to support you and wish you well. And then a little bit of there will have opportunity for you to do that.